Hey y'all, welcome back to Jack's Drinkwater Southern Cooking and Barbecue. People are always asking me to up some of my secrets from the Freemasons. As you may or may not know, I am a Freemason, but today I'm gonna reveal one of the best kept secrets of Freemasonry. Now, it's the only secret I'm gonna reveal, but today I'm gonna be revealing my secret for what I call the Master Mason macaroni salad. You're not gonna wanna miss this one. So let's start by making our dressing. 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1.5 teaspoons of sea salt, 2 tablespoons of sugar, a 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, here goes 2. 1.5 cups of mayonnaise, 1/4 cup of sour cream. So let's just give this a stir about first, then I'm gonna break my whisk out. Just keep whisking it until all those lumps from the mayonnaise and the sour cream come out. Get it nice and smooth. So we got our dressing nice and smooth now. Probably should have said this before. You want to go ahead and get you some water boiling for our pasta. We're going to be boiling up 1 pound of pasta. Now this is a 2-pound box of pasta or elbow macaroni. I've already used half of it, so we're just going to be using the other half. Now trust me on that water was boiling. I just pulled it off the stove there to put it in front of the camera. And when I took it off, it just stopped boiling real quick, but I put it right back on the boiler. So we're still boiling. Now, while your pasta's boiling, you're gonna make sure you don't wanna over boil it. And what I mean by that, you don't want your pasta mushy. So you want your pasta al dente. So while our pasta's over there boiling away, I got 6.5 ounces of fresh dill. And now that's 6.5 ounces with the stems on, but we don't want the stems. So we just wanna run our fingers over here like this and just take off the dill here. While it seems like a lot, this seems like a lot of dill, keep in mind this is a big pot of pasta, so this is gonna be the perfect amount of dill. And I mean, unless you don't like dill, but this pasta is the real deal. All right, now we got that pulled off. I'm gonna do a pretty good chop here. I mean, I'm not doing fine, but it's not real thick either. So I'm just gonna kind of run through quickly like this. We're gonna add our dill, go ahead and add our dill to this party right here. All right, good enough. All right, now we got us a big handful of parsley here. And we're gonna head and start chopping that up. All right, we got that chopped up. Let's transfer this into there. Man, this smells amazing already. This is what Freemasonry smells like, folks.
Fresh dill.
We have our parsley, we have our dill all mixed up. We've whisked that in, that's ready to go. Our pasta is done. I wanna give you a few tips about the pasta. I kind of figured everybody knows how to make it, but just in case you don't, make sure you fill that pot up with water, bring it to a boil. Once it gets to a boil, add your 2 to 3 tablespoons of salt in there, then put your 1 pound of pasta in there. When your pasta gets up to al dente, go straight to the sink, put it in a colander, and then after that, run cold water over it because we want that pasta to stop cooking. Now that we've covered that, let's go ahead and add our pasta to our dressing mix. I know that's in the way. Sorry about that. Okay, before we give that a stir, to that we're gonna add 1/3 of a cup of red onion. And that you can see that's not minced, but it's cut to small pieces because you don't want to get a big old chunk of onion when you're eating this. In other words, we just don't want any big chunks of any one thing. You want all this, you want it to be a brotherhood. That was 1/3 cup of chopped baby bell peppers, and if you don't know what those are, they're just little bitty small bell peppers here, and I used just a few different colors because I like this to have a little bit of flair to it, you know, eye appeal. And now we're going in with a 1/2 cup of diced celery, and now I did cut the celery a little smaller than the rest of this stuff because I don't, you know, for me personally, I don't like to, you know, big hunks of celery in there. And the favorite part, which really sets this off, is about 13 ounces of cheese. And this is a mix of cheese. Where is the cheese? The mix is Colby Jack. I love to use this cheese. These cheese comes in cubes already. So these cubes come like this. You can see that, all right? And I take that cube and I cut it into quarters. All right, so we're gonna add that 13 ounces of cheese to this. Lastly, 1 cup of frozen peas that have been slightly defrosted. Now we're gonna just give all of this a fold in. And we still got one other thing to put in this mix. And once we get all this incorporated, I'm gonna show you the last ingredient. But you can see how beautiful this is. And the color on this is fantastic. Now, the bad news that I'm gonna tell you is you need to let this hang out overnight. So make it the day before Lodge. Now, I will say this, the day that you have Lodge, which obviously is gonna be tomorrow, about an hour before you go to Lodge, maybe even 30 minutes, you're gonna wanna take some heavy cream and you're gonna wanna, because this is gonna firm up quite a bit, you're gonna wanna take some of that heavy cream and just pour across the top of it and then kind of fold it in very lightly until you get that nice consistency that we have right now, because it won't be like this tomorrow. But I'm telling you, if you try to rush this, you could take this to Lodge tonight, but it's not gonna be as good and you're not gonna get as rave reviews as this gets. All right, lastly, I have 3 boiled eggs here. You wanna make sure you put these in last now. If you don't, it's just gonna turn to mush. And you're gonna lightly fold these in. Is that even a thing? Lightly fold in? Or is that pretty much redundant? That's, if you say fold in, that already means lightly. And remember, you ain't gotta be too crazy with folding it in right now because we're gonna probably have to stir this once or twice tomorrow. All right, and just make sure you go from the bottom all the way down and flip over and just kind of move it around like this. All right, that is enough for me for right now. So trust me, we're gonna give it a little bit of taste, even though if it might need salt, you might need to add it tomorrow. I'd rather add it to the next day rather than today because the flavors just hadn't really melded together, and your vegetables are gonna probably be a little bit more crunchy today than they will tomorrow. So let's just see how we did. Oh my God, fantastic. All right, to store this, you're gonna wanna take some cling wrap. And you're gonna, what I like to do is make it big, push it down over the top. So I'm gonna just show you how, all right, I'm gonna show you how to store this because it's a special way and you really need to do this, and it's gonna keep your pasta from kind of drying out on top. So be right back with you. Take a piece bigger than you think you're gonna need. Okay, just lay it over the top. And I kind of press down like this. If you have to use more than one, that's fine. Just make sure you push it on top just like that. And I'm gonna have to add a little bit more. And I'm gonna warn you right now, if you start bringing this to Lodge, you might as well get ready because you're gonna have to bring it every time. All right, so I want to throw this out there. You obviously doesn't have to be a Freemason to enjoy this. If you're not a Freemason, take this to any potluck or any Thanksgiving meal, any Christmas meal, any place that there's a get together. I promise you, they're gonna be asking you to bring this again. All right, guys, Master Mason macaroni salad. Do it.